Kalimera, and welcome to another session of Hivebreed the Talks, the marketing podcast for next generation marketers, visionary managers, and people who want to radically stand out in the era of the digital economy. I'm your host, Dimitri Stefani, and in this series, we are discussing about the Metahuman. With radical changes coming our way to the way we do business, the way we experience purchasing behaviors, and the way we do communicate between us, the society and the human DNA is changing, and we're examining how specialists in their field can add value through their insights and expertise. Today, we have a very special guest. He's a facilitator, speaker, and best-selling author on public speaking, leadership, and business culture. He has worked in over 19 countries with some of the world's biggest and most prestigious companies like Google, the American P&I Club, Microsoft, and Ericsson. And Michael is one of the most highly respected and in-demand speakers and trainers across all continents. Above all, he's a great friend and great person. And it's our great pleasure and honor to have him with us today. Michael, welcome to the podcast. I hope our next 30 minutes will be insightful and useful for the audience.
Thank you, Dimitris. And from everything you said, the one that I keep is the good friend. And I appreciate that very much. I feel the same way. And I wish to you and your team to have a very successful podcast going forward. And thank you for being the first guest.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Peter Drucker, the father of business and marketing, once said that culture is strategy for breakfast. On the one side, culture needs people, needs human interaction, needs physical presence, and the ability to grasp the micro signals between people and the organization. How have you experienced the change in culture and the way people do business through your own perspective in the last 2 years?
And you talk about the last 2 years, and I bet you mean in the pandemic era, what we're going through. Let me define culture first and foremost. For me, culture is, and I totally agree with Drucker, but culture for me is the way we do things around here. Mm-hmm. And the way we do things around here throughout the pandemic has changed because thanks to technology, companies have been able to hire people, to get them on board, to train them, but not to see them physically. And it's a very huge question mark. How do you manage to show them by leading by example and being physically present how you do things around here? Because you see how you do things behind the glass. And that is a major challenge for many companies. And the hybrid model, in my opinion, will serve as well in order for people to be able to move into the office, into the premises, to be physically present with the leaders, with their managers, and see how we do things around here. The best example of leading is leading by example. And physically, you can see a lot more, and a lot of sensors and a lot of stimuli can be switched on if you're present rather than being behind a glass. So it's a difficult challenge. It can be done, and thanks to technology, we didn't shut down. But the main bet is how do you get the culture up and running, which can be a different question. But yes, it has been different and difficult the past 2 years.
Michael, you're now doing sessions and seminars and conferences for companies across the world, and some of them are being done virtually, right?
Yes, of course.
What was the biggest challenge for you in this transition between being physical and people feeling your energy and your vibe, and now being online and trying to talk strategy and culture?
The biggest challenge was making sure that my Ethernet was connected the full duration of the keynote or of the seminar. And yes, great question. And in certain cases, like very recently, I had 2 speeches with a 1.5 billion company, which is called Palfinger in Austria, with their managers across the world. I couldn't see anyone. I was looking at 2 monitors. One monitor is right on my left-hand side. The other monitor is here. And because of GDPR reasons, because I made a deal so they could record it and use it again and again and again, and we couldn't see people in there. That was the reason in this case. And Dimitris, it was very, very difficult for me because I wasn't getting any reaction. Because when I speak on stage, when I talk on stage, I look at reactions. I can see puzzled faces. I can see happy faces. I can see sad faces. I can see tired faces. And I will know exactly what I need to change. But when I'm speaking to a monitor without looking at anyone, I'm looking at you now, but I'm not looking at the audience. And I cannot see if they are enjoying it or not, if I should continue on this path or on that path. So that was the major challenge. And I had my mobile lined up like this, just in case the HR director called and say, Michael, you're off air, or something happened. And only for her, nobody else. I wouldn't look at my mobile for anyone. But still, I had to look on my right-hand side, left-hand side, consciously, subconsciously think, am I on air? Am I off air? Are they enjoying it or not? So, Dimitris, it's a huge challenge. And I received the feedback after it's finished. And thank God it went very well in this case. So it's a challenge, Dimitris.
Do you believe people can still learn effectively through the online means?
I believe they can continue learning. They can enhance their knowledge, of course. But my feeling, being 49 years of age, having been in this industry for more than 30 years now, very actively the last 20 years, I can say that you need all your senses to be activated in order to learn. In one of my public speaking courses, I say VHF, visual, hearing, and feeling. Visual, hearing, of course, but feeling as well. And feeling is different. When you give someone something to touch, when you even touch them or pat their backs, or when you get them to work in teams, or when their eye catches something from another participant, they are learning not only from Michael Virardi or from the trainer, speaker, or from the podcaster, but they are learning from their environment. When I was at Singularity University in the United States, the front runners in technology, I spent a week there. One of the best exercises they've done didn't have to do with technology. They told us, stand up, please. After 3 days of training, non-stop. It's the university where Peter Diamandis and the rest are teaching. They said, stand up. Okay, now I want you to turn your head up and observe something you haven't seen for the past 3 days and wonder, why is that thing there? And why haven't I seen it? So now you're looking at this box. So that's the stimuli you're getting. You're getting Michael Virardi and Dimitris Stefanis from here to here. That's it. So education, knowledge to be driven inside the mind, inside the body, to be absorbed, needs something more than just one or two stimuli to be up and running. You need all of your stimuli, all your senses.
Or we can wear our Oculus glasses in 2 years' time, wear our sensory vest, connect with our magic gloves, and become part of a digital world that is much more augmented, much more enhanced. We can be able to fly, swim without taking a breath. And actually, I think you've been to the Silicon Valley, right?
Yes.
Those people are experiencing firsthand what's about to come in the next 3-5 years to the public.
The glasses that I've seen there and I wore wasn't up to the standard that I expected.
Yeah.
And what they told us, and they're right, if we get it right in 20 years' time, it's still like this. It's still the present. So I didn't experience it well. And I mean, I can ask you a question, and this is a hypothetical question. And maybe by answering this question, we might reach a conclusion. So would you like to wear your glasses and everything and make love to a woman? Or would you like to physically make love to your wife in this case, because you're married? But which one of the two? And,
it's a no-brainer, of course.
It's a no-brainer, yes.
Yeah. But on the other hand, we see the new generations being introduced into a new world. We see our children playing on PlayStation through Oculus. We see them trying to touch on paintings to see if they're swipe up. So behavior is changing. And last week, the Insider published an article that if anyone in Silicon Valley in the next 3 years doesn't get into the VR world, they will be ostracized by everyone else. And at the same time, esports, one of the biggest companies in the gaming industry, is providing a free service where you can create your own metahuman. Metahuman meaning creating your own digital avatar where you can use it either on the workplace or in digital gaming platforms. And even a huge market right now is into non-fungible items, NFTs, if you know. Even Gucci, one of the biggest fashion brands, they are selling Gucci bags online, which actually they are even non-existent. Yes. Do you think we'll soon be living in this digital world more than the physical one? And what is your prediction on your line of business?
My prediction is that if we don't follow technology, we get left behind, and this has always been the case. I mean, if I didn't have an iPhone or a Samsung phone or whatever, now with this device, I have my PA here. It's called Siri. Her name is Siri. And I do everything almost exclusively. We do everything on our own, or ourselves. We just say, Siri, where did I park my car? Please remember. Siri, can you book this appointment? So we shouldn't be left behind. We should follow technology. And that's the reason I went to Silicon Valley and I paid a hell of a lot of money to get there and be there for 1 week, and just to get a glimpse of what's happening. And I'm like you. I read articles. I follow things. If I don't know, I ask. And we shouldn't be left behind. But at the same time, my prediction is that busy people, I'm talking about business people, B2B, business to business, where I'm very active, when they want to vent off, when they want to have a great brainstorming session, when they want to talk strategy or culture, according to Drucker, I think they need to leave the office, leave the meta world, and go to the physical world, walk in Platres, which is a great mountain here in Cyprus, a great resort, and breathe fresh air, and new ideas will come. Because if you're at the same place, or either your avatar is there, I don't believe that you will get so many ideas and have a great strategy going into the next year. So I think it's a combination of both. But the physical world, as we were for the past so many thousand years, it will continue. That's my feeling.
Okay.
Continue to play a major role in all of these things we're discussing.
Another question, because a lot of our audience is marketers, and anyone who knows you knows very well how active you are on the digital world. My first personal experience with Michael Virardi was an email, where an email might seem a very simple, non-emotional set of letters, but to me it felt direct, it felt honest, and it felt a friendly, warm approach that really caught my attention to continue the conversation. I remember I also received a feedback on something I was writing on LinkedIn, which I didn't expect to have such a honest feedback from someone who is already recognized in their field.
Thank you.
What would you advise as a practical advice to people aiming to stand out in the era of the digital economy?
We're talking about advertising, their digital presence. Yes.
Yeah.
First of all, I think most of the answers you've given them yourself. Being genuine, be real, be honest, and the rest of the advice is always ask yourself before you post something: is this a boost to society or is this a boost to my ego? Most of the posts that go up are a boost to our ego rather than a boost to society. When I change from ego to society, and I still might fall into that trap, instead of saying I have been to Google, we can say what we've learned from that experience and make it relevant for your audience, and make sure that your audience can win something out of it or can gain something out of it. And only by asking this question, maybe one of the best digital agencies like yourselves can become even better. So that's the one. Secondly, I always answer each and every person that has written to me. I might have missed some out of the 100,000 messages the past few years. I might have missed 5. I don't know. Maybe it was 3 a.m. I was feeding my kids and I saw it and forgot to answer. I don't know. But 99,995, I answered them. And I try to add value to people, even if they cannot afford my services, or even if I cannot afford to give them my full time. And you should do that. And why? Because if someone is knocking your door, you will answer. If someone is knocking your electronic door, who gives you the right not to answer? And if you want meta, if you want hybrid, if you want digital, then you should answer. Because if I was outside your office in Larnaca now, you would answer. And you would say, hi, Michael, please come in, or Michael, go away. But you would answer me. So I practice the golden rule: treat others as you would like to be treated. Or the platinum rule: treat others better than you would have liked to be treated. And this has worked. Boost to society, be honest, be real, be authentic, add value to people, and answer people back, even if you answer them negatively. So I want to appear on this podcast. I'm sorry, Dimitris, there is no more time. At least he will appreciate that you have answered.
Yeah, definitely.
So this is my advice. And the rest is advice that we can go on and on with branding, colors, and the rest. But you are more...
Which is more technical. And when you open the book or Google it, you can definitely find it out.
Of course. But because I see a lot of people, one day it's pink, one day is green, one day is that, and one day is the other, I get confused. I see posts by ABC, and I think it's from DEF. Only by looking at the colors, it's this one. Or I've even seen posts from other people. I thought it was my post because it was the yellow and the black. And I said, whoa, when did I post this? And then it wasn't my face. It wasn't such a guy on the cover. So I think, yes, it's not Michael.
Oh, it's not me.
It's not me.
So based on the term, a metahuman is someone who reaches their infinite potential or high levels of awareness or intelligence. We can either do that by meditating all day long or by amplifying our existence through the meta world or other digital means. On the other hand, you have proven that a metahuman could be a different thing. And we can see it on your weekly posts that are very interesting and very engaging. What does a metahuman mean to you?
I think it means a human and being humane. If you are humane, even if you make mistakes, people will appreciate it and they will respect you for that. Being honest is exactly the principles that Dale Carnegie used to preach 85 years ago in his one of the best-selling books of all times, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Be
it's still relevant,
first of all, and then be a metahuman. I mean, for me, a metahuman is somebody who follows technology and is not left behind. But you have to be a human first and humane. It's as easy as that. I'm treating Dimitris Stefanis exactly the same as I'm treating one of my best customers in New York City. And that's how you should be. And most people are not like that. And they are the ones who are losing out. It's simple. It's so simple. So be passionate, do something you love, because passion stems from the word, it all has to do with enthusiasm, and enthusiasm means in Greek the God within, and theo, the God within. So if you're doing something that you're passionate, you are releasing the God within, and I'm not talking religiously now, to the outside world. And that's how you should be, a human and humane. And then if you want to be a metahuman, follow technology, don't get left behind. And if you don't know, ask Dimitris Stefani, like I'm going to be asking to send me that article you talked about. Then I'm going to see if I want to create an avatar. Then I will see how this has helped me, but not immediately, maybe long-term or short-term or medium-term. And then I will have my avatar, but I want to see how it will help me in terms of my business or in terms of my personal life.
Yeah. Great. You're also launching a new course like right now
The mastermind, yes.
called the Mastermind.
Yes, we have a
I,
mastermind for only 15 professionals. Yes.
which I think it's very relevant to the times and the talk, even though I think it translates the humane principles into the digital world. Could you please share a few more details about it?
Yes, Dimitris, I've seen that, and this is coming from research and reports from Deloitte, PwC, Ernst& Young, McKinsey, that by 2025, 70% of the workforce and the managers will be millennials. And they will be leading the generation below them, Generation Z, and 3 generations above them. Yeah. Most of these people are not as experienced as other people, although they are very capable, very, very capable. But I have seen from my customers, both in Cyprus and abroad, that these managers, and I'm not talking only millennials, anyone who thinks like a millennial, acts like a millennial, I think I act as a millennial sometimes, and I'm not a millennial. I believe that they need help in terms of management. Some need help in terms of improving their communication skills. Others, they are influencing skills. Others, they are negotiating skills, which I'm bringing one of the best experts in the world for that in the course. Others need to know how to delegate or give feedback in a way that it won't backfire and lose out. Others don't know how to get close to their team, even though they're very capable. So we are organizing this mastermind, which will be a 9-week mastermind with 2 hours every week. They will have 2 hours coaching one-on-one with me throughout each person. So it's 15 times 2, it's 30 hours, but each person is getting 2 hours. There will be books that will be flown in from us, given to the participants, and we will be talking about these books and analyzing them. And there will be also an assignment. Each person's assignment will be completely different. And you might get an assignment, Dimitris, that you want to improve, for example, your delegation, or you might get an assignment you want to improve your branding. And you will be on the hot seat, divided by how many people there are there, once or twice, so people can give you advice. It's called a mastermind because not only Michael Virardi or his experts will give you advice, but also the group. And then after years and years of doing this group, because it will be a close group, can even build a great network between them. And as the saying goes, your network will determine your net worth at the end of the day. So this is the aim of what we're starting now. It's called the Future Leaders Mastermind.
Where can people find more information about it?
And since we want to give you exclusivity after this podcast, I'm going to post for the first time ever the brochure for the mastermind.
Great.
I'm going to tag you there, and thank you also for mentioning, because it's exclusivity only to you. It hasn't yet gone out.
Great, thank you very much.
Out to the people who have applied, and we still have a few seats left. But the people who have applied got it because they need to move fast. Because there is also an early bird, and they need to get it, and they wanted to get it. That's it.
You have been guiding all of your actions, business, personal, and family-wise, through culture. And I think it wouldn't be a better way to close this great talk with a piece of advice you would like to share with the people.
In terms of company cultures or something else, or any advice?
In terms of culture, human or metahuman.
Okay. I believe that the most important culture you should get right is your family culture. The way you bring up your kids, the way you behave towards your spouse, the way you admit your mistakes, all of these that we're teaching at the mastermind can be seen live in your home. When you're upset, when you're not upset, your values, what you don't value. I remember someone asked me, but what is values all about? I think the best test for values is, would you ever rob a bank if no one would ever know? And the silent answer you give to yourself that's kind of determines your values. And you don't need to answer this, Dimitris. But but the first culture we should get right is our family culture. And from there on, because you cannot be one person at home and another person at the office. Yes, you can have a growth mindset at home and a fixed mindset, according to psychologist Carol Dweck, at the office, or vice versa. But still, you will grow into a growth mindset if you want to do it slowly by reading her book, Mindset, by asking for feedback, by understanding that being a manager doesn't mean being an authority, but serving your people. Everything that we'll be learning also at the mastermind. But people know this. People can read about it. They don't need to come to the mastermind for that. But some people need reminding, and common sense is indeed not so common. And if you get the culture right, people feel happier, customers feel happier, and the way you treat your people is the exact same way they will treat your customers. And it's exactly like that. And we should invest first and foremost in our self-development, and then this will lead to a better self, metahuman, human, professional, which helps enhance the company culture, which in turn helps our people to be happier, which help our customers to be happier, which come back and buy from us. And we will come down to the conclusion that I always say, it's not about price. Only 6% of the times, or 7 or 8, is about price. But people, because they have a huge ego most of the times, they say, I lost the business because it was down to price. No, it wasn't down to price. It was down to either your company culture, Dimitris, or something that you haven't done exactly correct.
Or personality.
Personality, correct. Or you told them you will be live on air at 10 and you were live at 11 a.m. So they lost trust and there was tension and people were looking for it. So that's my advice, my dear friend. Get it right at home, even if you are living alone or single, or if you are married, or if you are with only no children and spouse, and then you will get it right in your business.
Great. I think that was a great addition to our first episode of the Metahuman series, because we wanted to get a whole rounded view of people talking from the core of our human DNA to the other side of the technological aspect of being amplified and living to a different world. I think we might also create a debate after the first series. Michael, I would like to honestly thank you for your time, your precious time, and wish to you and your family the very best and a great year ahead.
Thank you, Dimitris. I wish you the same. I really enjoyed it. You were very British or Swiss with your time. You said 30 minutes. You're going to close exactly on the mark. I want to thank you. I want to thank your colleagues, and especially Esther, for setting all this up and being very prompt. And I really, really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, everyone, for your time and viewing. You will be able to find the podcast in the next 24 hours in our Spotify, Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube. And don't forget to subscribe to our channels or our newsletter on our website at hivebreed.com in order to also be able to get the brochure for the mastermind session.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All the best. Bye-bye.
All the best.
You. Bye.